モータースポーツで得た高度な技術を全てのレイズホイール一本に込める魂は永遠に変わらない。ビヨンド・ザ・レボリューション。ザ・コンセプト・イズ・レーシング。
Link is the engine management solution for champions the world over. We know what it takes to win, pushing boundaries, performing under pressure, and having the best people on your team. Our tech support are performance specialists, available 24 hours and ready to talk one-on-one about your winning formula. Link ECU. The performance, reliability, and power to get to the podium.
That's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 stick, you can get high with me. That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ay, coming down like precipitation. I ain't never met a limitation. Hate applying my elimination. Gotta go to Google for the information. I'm a superstar, so I gotta shine.
Welcome back to Pikes Peak International Raceway and Global Time Attack's Ascend Music and Motorsport Festival. We are about to get live with the Ascend Night Battle. We have $10,000 on the line for these competitors. It's going to be a knockout bracket series. We have a Group A and Group B. Both these are going to be racing independently of each other. They're going out as 9 and 7. They'll leave that session as 5 and 5. And then finally, the final 3 of each will be competing. The person who wins each run group will receive a check for $5,000. We have Jason Dienhart down there with these competitors. It looks like he's going to try and catch a few words before they go live on track. Jason, who do you got down there?
Welcome to the Ascend Night Battle here at PPIR. I am Jason with Global Time Attack. I am proud to be standing next to Mr. Luis Cobos from Time Attack Mexico. Welcome to PPIR. Welcome to the Ascend event, and I'm glad to finally get you out at a GTA.
Thank you so much for having us. We're very, very glad to be here. It's an amazing event. It's been 3 days, the last one, and it's been just amazing, eye-opening for us. Yeah.
How about we walk down a little bit and check out some of these cars? Kind of wanted to get your opinion a little bit on how things fare in terms of like the cars you see here in America and the cars that you see at Time Attack Mexico.
It's going to be very interesting to compare the cars that we have in Mexico with these ones. There are some builds like this one, this specific Audi right here. There are a lot of builds like this one. We are still a little bit away from that one, from that Corvette, Ferris's car over here. But we're getting there. The crew, the people around the Time Attack community is very enthusiastic about it. So it's growing. It's really growing.
So I don't know if you had a chance to meet Mr. Ferris Kartoumi yet. This is Luis Cobos from Time Attack Mexico. Would you ever be down to Time Attack at the F1 track down in Mexico City? This is where he throws his time attacks at.
Yeah, let's go. That's like on my bucket list, so let's do it.
So maybe I'm jumping a little early here, but you know, we've been talking for a couple years now about trying to figure something out, correct? And in the future, we don't have anything really set in stone, but we want to make something happen.
Yeah, I bet it will happen. And just to give you a hint of what kind of a track we race down in Mexico, our straight is a little bit shy of a mile, so it's a very long straight. And the rest of the track has a lot of S's that with big aero cars could do a real difference, you know?
I practice that on the sim all the time. So I'm always like practicing tracks that I want to go to and hope one day I can go to. So that's been on my bucket list for a while.
We're going to make it happen one day. One of these days soon, we will make this happen, right?
Sure. We're working for it.
Yes, awesome. All right. Good luck tonight in the night battle. Let's go check some of these other cars out here. Cable's Viper. Do you guys get many Vipers down there?
We have a couple of Vipers. Most of them are really stock cars, just with slick tires. Nothing like a build like this one. This is a twin turbo car that is amazing. It has a sequential gearbox, so it's a great build, this one.
Yeah, amazing. Twin turbo, I mean, just absolutely tons of power. You know, he was really squirrely yesterday and the day before. Today he was able to lay it down. He would figure out his traction issue.
Yeah, one of the cars, or the class of cars that would race with this one, with Ferris Kartoumi's car, are like on the other way around, you know, like really lightweight cars, not that much power, but lightweight cars with a ton of aero, and they do great times down there. Yeah.
Right. Here, you know, there's no horsepower limit, so people take it to as far as they could possibly handle it, you know what I mean, and afford it, right? All right, what about Evos? You see many of these?
We have a couple of Evos that raced in rally down in Mexico, and once they finished rally, they started tuning them to race here. Yeah, so that's fun.
It's kind of cool to see an old 90s MR2 like this, right?
Beautiful. We didn't have those in Mexico, so this is like an exotic car for us, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Got a different engine, and I forgot what he told me. I mean, it might have been from I know we have a guy up in Washington State that swapped a Camry V6 into there. I thought he said it was a Sienna, so it's a bigger displacement from the van, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I bet the original Sienna didn't figure out that his engine would be in Time Attack, wouldn't it?
Exactly, I wouldn't think so. Good luck. How you feeling?
I'm excited. excited. I get to try my old tires on, so hopefully they'll be a little bit more sticky. A little bit nervous about that, but pretty stoked.
Awesome. Good luck tonight. Did you guys get a lot of female drivers?
Let me tell you, this will be interesting. We have a 16-year-old driver that drives a tube frame car with a Corvette V8, and she's like in the top 3 of our drivers, 16 years old. So
16. That's awesome. So the driver of the red Supra that was down pitted over here in that garage down to the end, Isaac Torres, he's a senior in high school. So yeah, I'm guessing he's probably 17 or 18 years old.
Yeah, just a young kid. Yeah, this kind of sport attracts a lot of different enthusiasts. You know, like from this little 16-year-old girl to we have guys that are in his mid-60s. You know, so it's you have a lot of different cars and different drivers and teams. You know,
it's one thing that I've always loved about Time Attack is that there's so many different types of vehicles. So it's obviously going to attract a lot of different people from different walks of life. You know, same thing, you know, make up our competitor list. You'll have young people, middle-aged people, older people, professional people, you know, mechanics, you know, people barely getting by.
Yeah, one of the things that are really cool about Time Attack in Mexico, there are some really large teams that get in with their trailer and a bunch of crew. And there are other guys that, like Ferris, that comes with his trailer, just brings his car down, and whatever it needs to fix in the car, he does it by himself. So that's kind of the magic of this sport, isn't it?
Right on, it sure is. I want to hand it off back to Cuban upstairs in a couple minutes here. We're getting ready for the night battle. This is a different format that we're trying tonight. It's kind of a no-holds-barred battle where the classes now don't really matter. We hope maybe in the future that the cars and enthusiasts and street class that make it into this night battle in the future will bring maybe different equipment to upgrade their car that would have put them out of the competition in terms of the class that they were originally in. So let's watch this and see how it goes. Luis, really glad to be able to interview you tonight. And you know, before we close off, did you have anything maybe in Spanish that you want to talk to your crowd back at home that might be watching? You know, maybe about a little bit of the plans that we talked about in case no one else was able to understand.
Muchas gracias. Sí, pues agradecerles a todos los seguidores y a los pilotos y a toda la comunidad de Time Attack en México. Estamos trabajando fuerte y teniendo pláticas serias con el equipo de Global Time Attack para poder recibir a los pilotos de Global Time Attack en México y también, ¿por qué no?, nosotros irlos a visitar a Cota y darles un poquito de batalla en su pista, ¿no?
Luis, gracias, man.
Gracias, amigo.
All right, Cuban, back to you. Let's do this night battle, man. I'm excited.
That was Jason with Lewis of Time Attack Mexico. It's going to be exciting. Jason has been working in the background for quite some time to try to get us a Time Attack event there at the Formula One track in Mexico. It's really exciting to have him out here. It's shown them a lot. It's shown us a lot. And keep your eyes open, guys. Global Time Attack going to Mexico Formula One track. It's going to be an absolute blast. These are the drivers lined up for your Ascend Night Battle. We'll be sending 2 individual groups out. We will start with 9 and 7 drivers. These drivers will go out in the top 5 of each group will move on to the next session. There's no classing here. Competitors can run whatever tires, whatever mods they want. The classing is done. It's just safety now. We will go from these competitors in each group down to 5. Then they'll have 10 minutes to go down and lay another fast lap. Those 5 will turn into 3. Then we will do our final session. Those 3 will have to battle for the number 1 spot of that session. For those of you that know anything about Time Attack, you may know that one car could be faster than another, but when the time crunch is on, there's no room for error. You may see some real big upsets in these night battles. We're going to go from full group down to 5, down to 3. Keep your eyes open. Each group will individually win $5,000. Whoever is on top at the end of the event of each group is taking home a check for $5,000 here at Pikes Peak International Raceway and Global Time Attack Ascend Music and Motorsport Festival. For those of you wondering, these are not going to be the small run groups that you saw earlier. It's not going to be 3 or 4 drivers. They're not only going to have to lay down their fast lap, they're going to have to do it with quite a few more cars on track. We will still send them out based on speed differential, but we're talking a 1.3 mile, 9-turn course. If one mistake is made on your hot lap and you have to try to go for another, you may be running into traffic. These drivers have all the stress in the world on their shoulders. This is them not just competing for another W in their class, this is them competing for money. For those of you watching and listening, if you're trying to see live timing and scoring, you can go to racehero.io or download the Race Hero app for your Android or Apple device. This will not only show you timing and scoring, it'll show you who's making it through the next session and also what times they've run all day. This is a complete database of the entire event, so if you're wondering where someone improved, how much time they picked up, or overall where they made mistakes where they could have done better, this is a great place for you to go check it out. Once again, racehero.io. Track is going hot in a few minutes. We will be starting this session live. All right, guys, it looks like we have the 1 minute start warning. It's 1 minute until the first 15-minute session of this group. Now, what I said earlier, in case you missed it, we're going to run 2 individual groups in 15 minutes. The top 5 of each group is going to go ahead and move on to the next set of sessions. Then it'll be 10 minutes for those 5 to lay down a fast lap. The 3 fastest of each of those will go to the final session. In that final session, they will try to put down the fastest lap of that session to take home that $5,000 purse. All right, and Group B is being sent out. This is Group B going out. They're being sent out with a little bit of a stagger. It's going to be really important for these drivers to keep their gap, because nothing worse than being on a flying lap and catching up to the end of somebody. You'll notice these drivers going up between 60 and 70%, getting a little bit of heat in their tires and trying to send it for a flyer. This is Group B going out for their first 15-minute session. And we have Michael Pastori in his Audi S3 starting his first flyer, followed by Paul O in his Shelby GT500. Ernie Ramirez in his Enthusiast Class Evo, and Josh Tangy in his Audi TT. Some of these drivers had issues laying down their fast laps in one session. They had to really come in and out and try and get things sorted. This is not the time for that. Though they went out based on how fast their lap was at the very end of the event, means nothing for the rack of the next run group. Two of these drivers will be knocked out before the end of this session. Looks like Michael Pastore made some clean work of the infield. And a 103.054 first lap set of this session. Paul O in his GT500 with a 104. Josh Tangy with a 105, 111 in his Audi TT, and Ernie Ramirez just 800ths behind him, 700ths behind him with a 105, 185. Matt Pope in that 2GR V6 swapped MR2 with a 107, 818. We have Elijah Sahlberg with a 108, 572. And Elena Sangard just finishing her first hot lap. She is on a different set of wheels and tires. This is her first competition event. She said she was nervous to be out there, but looks like she's taking it just fine. She's already dropped 2 seconds off her fastest lap of the event with a 109.825. These drivers are incredibly close. All they have to do is make it past the last 2 spots and they move forward. Paul O taking first place in a 102.437 in his Mustang GT500, getting in front of Michael Pastor. Not much shakeup here from the way they went out. It looks like Paul O was able to get in front of Michael Pastore, but everyone else is staying pretty static. Ernie Ramirez was a skosh faster than the car in front of him, but they are very close to each other. It is much warmer out here than it was this morning. We don't expect the same lap times, but we expect these drivers to adjust and try and go out and lay the fastest lap they can. It looks like Ernie Ramirez came into the pits, had his team check out the car. Obviously, he has 15 minutes in this first session, so if there's ever a time to have your car looked at between, tire pressure checked, now is the time. But as the sessions go on and they get shorter, you have less and less time to go out there and lay down a flyer. It does look like Paul O and Michael Pastore are about a second or two off their fastest laps on the second. This could be due to weather, it could be due to the heat, or it could just be due to the stress on the driver's shoulders. But these guys have 10 minutes to lay down their fastest lap to move on to the next session. This is Group B out on track with Group A ready to go. We're going to bang these out one after the other. So as soon as these drivers are in, we're going to send out A. Elena with a 109.536, catching up to Elijah Sahlberg's 108.9. She's going to have to pull another second or so out of that car to put herself in fifth, try and take Matt Pope out of that top five. It does look like Ernie Ramirez is back on track. Nope, he is still in the pits getting checked out. Hopefully whatever it is, it can be sorted with. He's sitting in fourth right now. He is safe as we stand, but there's still another 9 minutes left for these drivers to lay down a fast lap. Matt Pope in that 2GR MR2 being consistent in his time, but he is still sitting in fifth. He is in the danger zone. All Elijah Sahlberg has to do is pull a few tenths out, and he's going to take that spot from him. Matt's going to have to cool those tires off, cool himself off, and go for another flyer. He keeps hot lapping and putting heat in those tires. There's a chance he won't have the ability to pull a faster lap. We have Josh Tangy in his Audi TT taking the infield right there. Very smooth through the S's, trying to carry more speed onto the front straight. He is sitting in third place with a 105.111. And he was able to pull out a few tenths. A 105.086 took about a tenth off that lap. He was taking it low, trying to take every bit of speed he could down the front straight. That's obviously going to affect the next hot lap if he goes on one, but that was enough to pull a tenth out of his fastest lap. Still sitting with Paul O in first, Michael Pastore in second, Josh Tangy in third, Ernie Ramirez in fourth, and Matt Pope in fifth. We have Elijah Sahlberg and Elena Sangard sitting in the breakout. It does look like we have Elijah Sahlberg checking underneath his car in the hot pits. Him and his team do have tire pressure gauges out. It looks like they wanted to make a quick adjustment, but whatever they found, they definitely want to look over the car quickly. This is the one session where that may be viable. They still have 7 minutes left. That's plenty of time to get your car checked and get back out on track. You're looking at about a 1:20 warm-up lap. So as long as he's out there with 13 minutes left, he will definitely be able to lay one more flyer. Looks like Elijah and his team have that figured out. He's going right back through the hot pits to get released. All right, and it looks like Elijah is going back out on track. Elijah is sitting in the breakout. He needs to pull 0.8 of a second out of this lap to be able to surpass Mr. Pope and take 5th place and move on to the next run group. This is Elijah's warm-up lap. For those of you in the S's, this is his first lap back out after being checked. He's going to go ahead and start his first hot lap. He has to pull 0.8 out of his lap time. The weather is significantly warmer than it was during the day. These drivers were used to between 60 and 70 degrees. It is 88 degrees out right now, but we do have some cloud cover. The front straight does not have full sun coverage, but majority of this track does. That has its own negative effects. We're talking about cars making less power. We're talking about tires overheating quickly. You're talking about slippery tires. In a car that doesn't accelerate as fast, you're really going to have to pull as much as you can out of it in both the braking zones, out of the front straight, out of the back straight, and all through the infield. Nice clean corners, clean S's, clean exit onto the banking. All right, here's Elijah finishing his hot lap. He does have the track to himself. The other drivers have felt that they have put down their fastest laps. Ernie Ramirez laid down one flyer and came straight back in and is waiting for the next session. He says his 105.1 is going to hold for this run. Elijah went faster, but he's still 0.3 off of 5th place. Does look like Elijah cooled it down, ran about a 125, trying to cool his tires off. This is probably going to be his last lap to be able to set a flyer. If Elijah can pull 2.5 out of his lap time, he's going to move up and he's going to knock Matt Pope out. 108.117. So close. I don't see Elijah able to hot lap 2 back-to-back. It does look like he's not going to have it in him, but Elena Sandgaard has decided that she's going to fix something in the cold pits, come back out, and try to lay a flyer. That right there is her starting her hot lap, and this is going to be the final lap of this session. For someone competing in their first event in this car and only has a couple autocross under her belt, Elena's definitely done an amazing job at this event. I believe she's chopped a total of 7 or 8 seconds off of her lap time. She's actually gone from someone learning the track to actually being able to push for the time. We have Elijah getting out of the way for it. A lot of confidence in that car. She's using a lot of curving. Doesn't seem to upset it too much. This is going to be her run onto the front straight. Is she going to be the dark horse? Will she knock Matt Pope off of the top 5? And that is the end of this session. That will be her fastest lap of the event, just not enough to push her up into that 5th place. So round 1, Group B. We have Paul O, Michael Pastore, Josh Tangy, Ernie Ramirez, and Matt Pope moving on to their 2nd run group. As soon as Elena's worked her way around and gets back in these hot pits, we're going to immediately send Group A. Group A is going to consist of Ferris Khartoumi in his C6 Corvette, Dominic Tapia in his Evo 10, Cable Rosenberg in his twin turbo Viper. We have a driver change for Ben Dankers. That's going to be Anthony Zerka in Ben Dankers Evo, Tim Schopner in his Evo. We're going to have Joaquin Sandgaard, followed by Ray Guerrero. This is going to be your fast group. Group A is about to go live. Ferris Khartoumi with the fastest lap of this event, being sent out first, followed by Dominic Tapia. If you think it's just laid out and you know who's going forward, all it takes is for one mistake, one small issue. These are high-strung time attack cars at the front of this group. No one knows who's going to leave at the top of this one. And the track is green. Here comes Ferris Khartoumi in his twin-turbo Corvette. This is his new chassis. He's out here to set records like he did with his old one. The old car is still in Australia. Behind him, Dominic Tapia in his Pikes Peak International Hill Climb Evo 10. And behind him, the car that can be heard round the world, Cable Rosenberg in his twin-turbo V10 Viper. Anthony Zerka driving that Evo for the first time, and word is it is on slicks. It looks like Tony wanted to go out and lay down a flyer. Looking at that infield, though, Ferris Khartoumi is pushing it hard. He is one of the drivers that has stated that the infield is slick, so it takes a lot of effort to keep these cars together. Now, obviously, we're talking high power, high downforce. Any amount of loss of traction could be detrimental to their lap time. Ferris coming around to finish his first lap with a 57.891. But Dominic Tapia with a 56.488 taking that first spot, and Cable Rosenberg with a 59.329. The weather is absolutely not with him. And Anthony Zerko with a 59.262, putting himself in third place. We have Tim Schopner with a 1 minute 3:04. Joaquin with a 101.766, just waiting for Ray Guerrero. Ray was able to pull 3 seconds out of his fastest lap in the final session. Let's see if he still has that in him. Looks like Ferris just finished his second hot lap. That is more than likely the last hot lap before he comes in and gets checked. Ferris Kartoumi took it back with a 56.340. Dominic Tapia on his second lap lost about a second with a 57.258. Cable Rosenberg with a 58.227, bringing himself up to third. Anthony Zerko with a 58.519, improving his time but still losing that spot to Cable Rosenberg. Anthony Zerka sitting in fourth. Tim Schopner about to finish his second flyer. Tim did improve to a 1 minute .001, but it still puts him on the cusp. He's sitting in fifth place right now with Joaquim Sangard and Ray Guerrero right behind him. Ray was able to improve to a 102.913. Joaquim at a 101.765. Currently, Tim is safe, but it is going to be very close. These drivers were within a second of each other on the podium or less. All it's going to take is that one perfect lap out of one of the lower competitors, and boom, knocking him right out. It does look like Anthony Zerko was able to resurpass Cable Rosenberg with a 57.535. Cable just did a 57.564, but Anthony laid it down a little faster. Dominic Tapia in that white Evo is doing a cool down lap right now. He was really low on the front straight, probably trying to cool the tires down. Talking to him earlier in the day, they've changed to a compound that allows him to do more laps, doesn't wash away as quickly. May take away that initial grip, but gives him more confidence in the car and able to go out and do more laps. It does look like Ferris is in. He feels that he has laid down a lap time that no one is going to surpass, or at least put him in fifth, so he's going to come in, cool the car down, and get ready for the second session. Currently, we're looking at Ferris Kartoumi with a 56.340, Dominic Tapia with a 56.488, Anthony Zerko with a 57.535, Cable Rosenberg with a 57.564, and Tim Schopner with a 1 minute .001. Tim Schopner trying to make himself safer in fifth place in that gray Evo, just did a 59.614, really opening the gap between him and Joaquim Sangard with a 101.766. Ray Guerrero is going to have to cool those tires down and try and lay down a flyer with his 103.962. He's staying consistent in lap times, but he doesn't need consistent right now. He needs fast. This is Group A, Session 1. Group A, Session 1 of the Ascend Night Battle here at PPIR and GTA's Ascend Music and Motorsport Festival. Top 5 of each of those groups are going to go back out. They will have a 10-minute session to try to lay down the fastest lap. Remember, there is $5,000 on the line for each of these run groups. This is redemption for some people. Maybe they didn't win their session, but now's their chance to come home with money. Like most of the high speed, high power run groups, this is the group with the most attrition, or the group where the cars are set up to only do 1 to 3 laps. It looks like Ray Guerrero is out there to try and surpass his 102.913, but he's going to have to get down to a 59.613 to be able to take Tim Schopner off of that top 5 position. While Ray is on a cooldown, let's go ahead and shoot it to our sponsors. We couldn't do what we do without them, without the fans, and without our competitors. Huge shout out to everyone that's been supporting Global Time Attack and the PPIR Ascend Music and Motorsport Festival, and to the future of what this sport has to come.
モータースポーツで得た高度な技術をすべてのレイズホイール一本に込める魂は永遠に変わらない。ビヨンド・ザ・レボリューション。ザ・コンセプト・イズ・レーシング。
Link is the engine management solution for champions the world over. We know what it takes to win, pushing boundaries, performing under pressure, and having the best people on your team. Our tech support are performance specialists, available 24 hours and ready to talk one-on-one about your winning formula. Link ECU. The performance, reliability, and power to get to the podium.
It looks like Tim Schopner is going back out. He came in, talked to his team. Though he is safe in 5th, he says the car has more in it and he wants to prove it. Here's Tim starting his hot lap after coming out from the hot pits. Another beautiful Evo. This is probably one of the most gorgeous Evos in North American Time Attack. He really likes to make sure that function and form come together. He did take 2nd in limited class right behind Ben Danker's beautiful orange and black Evo. Now he has to do whatever he can to stay ahead of it in this competition. Remember, guys, this is not you take first every session and win. You just have to make it to the end before you take first. As long as you're top 5 in this session, you move on to the next one. Looks like Tim and his team actually put the windows back in that car. For those of you wondering what that means, in limited class, you're not allowed to have windows. Your front windows have to be either removed or down, but as this isn't a class-based competition, this is who can lay down the fastest lap. Class ruling does not matter. That's why we have Anthony Zerka in Ben Danker's Evo on slicks right now. That lap was a 1 minute .865, but it looks like he's sending it for a second. He has consistently gone faster on his second lap, so let's see if he can get below that 59.614 he's sitting at. Car looking nice and tidy through the infield. Little bit of understeer through that U-turn. That's the biggest problem. We got 2 things going against them. One, that's the drift paddock. You obviously lose a little bit of grip based on all the rubber and different types of rubber on the ground, but also it is hot out here compared to the sessions these guys were running. It looks like he has lost enough time where he feels he is done for this session. He wants to save the tires and save the car for the next session out. He has been able to secure 5th place, so he will be moving forward in that TF Works Lancer Evolution.
My old Chevy, she runs out good, like the flames all across the hood. A high school hot rod, yeah, that's my flavor when it's roadside pops.
Hey, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 stick, you can get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 stick, you can get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, coming down like precipitation. I ain't never met a limitation. Hate applying my elimination. Gotta go to Google for the information. I'm a superstar, so I gotta shine. Top dollar be the
That is going to be the end of time for this session. Ray Guerrero is going to come around, finish his lap. He was not able to pull himself out of 7th. It was a great run for him, but if he decides to go across start finish one more time, that is going to be the end for him. Leading this session on his 2nd lap, Ferris Khartoumi with a 56.340, but Dominic Tapia came out with a 56.488 on his 1st lap. Anthony Zirko was able to pull out a 57.535 on his 2nd lap. Cable Rosenberg with a 57.564, and Tim Schopner at a 59.614, able to finalize that top 5. Lining up for the top 5 of Group B, we have those folks on the hot pits. As soon as we have Ray Guerrero in and the track is clear, we will send them live. It does look like we have everyone off track. They're going to make sure it's clean and clear. As soon as control gives the word, we will send Group B back out. It looks like it's going to be led by Paul O, followed by Michael Pastore, Josh Tangy, Ernie Ramirez, and Matt Pope. These are going to be your top 5 going into Group B.
Attention to the bits, attention to the bits. If you own a white Jeep, license plate ZG9H7A, you are blocking another car. Again, if you own a white Jeep Compass ZG9H7A. You're blocking your car. Missouri plate.
All right, Group B is being sent out. Group B is being sent out, led by Paul O. Michael Pastore right behind him. Josh Tangy and his Audi TT getting ready to be sent. We have Ernie Ramirez in his enthusiast class Evo. He did one lap. He said that's enough to get me in here, but now it put him in fourth. He's going to have to be in third to move on. And then Matt Pope, who rang out the end of Group B. Now these final two drivers are going to have to find some pace. Luckily, the times made in the last session mean absolutely nothing. This is a fresh session. Top three of this session move on. Paul O with that Voodoo-powered GT500 flat plane crank V8 out there, just trying to make sure he stays in the front. This man is an airline pilot. He actually found Time Attack through NADA, guys. He found it through the North American Time Attack Council. Looks like track is clear. Everyone is green. Track is going hot. This is going to be Paul O starting his first hot lap. Josh Tangy may have made an excitement mistake. He is very close to Michael Pastore there. Though that doesn't sound like a big deal, even on a stock aero car, the aero wash from a car in front of you can make a big difference in turning and in braking. Ernie Ramirez gave himself a nice little gap to have a clean lap. He's going to have to pull a quicker lap time out of his pocket, though, if he wants to make it to this next set of final three. This is a 10-minute session, guys. We have pulled 5 minutes away from them. They have 10 minutes to lay down the fastest lap they can. Looks like Matt Pope ringing up the rear, starting his first hot lap. Paul O has a nice clear track in front of him, but these two drivers behind him may have been a little too excited. Let's hope it doesn't cost them too much lap time. Making small mistakes like setup on a warm-up lap could really cost you in this short session when you're trying to move forward. You don't want to open the door for Ernie Ramirez or Matt Pope to surpass you because you were too excited going out. Paul O with a 103.823 is his first lap, but Michael Pastore 103.332 and Josh Tangy a 103.993. We're talking all three drivers in the 103s. These guys are really fighting to be in front. As it sits right now, these are your top three. Oh, I caught a glimpse of Ernie Ramirez on the infield. It looks like he may have a failure. Matt Pope with a 108.550. It's really left the door open, guys. It looks like he is in a safe place. It's not going to affect our session. Let's let these drivers lay down these laps. Michael Pastore leading right now with a 103.332. Paul O with a 102.833, taking that spot back. Looks like he made a little bit of gap between him and Michael Pastore and Josh Tangy. Looks like Josh got around Michael Pastore on that last lap. He is a local. He says this is his home track, so this is somewhere he is incredibly comfortable with. He says the bank is not an issue for him. He was just trying to get all the things on the infield sorted. Let's see if he's able to pull another second out of his fastest lap to be ahead of Paul O. Based on historical lap times, Paul O should win this, but as we've seen already, historical lap times don't mean anything. We're on a much warmer track with a completely different setup. All these drivers have to do is put down the best lap they can and hope it's enough to put them into the finals. It does look like Ernie Ramirez was able to make it back into the pits. Hopefully his team can get this figured out. He's got 5.5 minutes to get back out there, guys. Ernie Ramirez has 5.5 minutes to get back out there. He absolutely has the speed to take third place, but let's see if he can pull it out. Hopefully whatever happened with him can be taken care of quickly. There's not very much time left for him and his team to sort this out. They're talking it up, and hopefully we get him back on track. Currently, we have Michael Pastore finishing a cool down. It looks like he is actually coming into the pits. There it is. There's Ernie Ramirez. He's going to go ahead and talk to our tech and safety, make sure he's good to go, and they're going to send him out back on track. And he is live. This is Ernie Ramirez's chance to go out there and surpass Josh Tangy with a 103.993. Currently leading the session with a 102.833 is Paul O in that GT 500. Drivers from Group A are starting to grid up. They know that their session is coming in 5 minutes. Once again, drivers in Group A are gridding up. They know their session is in 5 minutes. We have Ferris Kartoumi and Dominic Tapia already ready to go out. Ernie Ramirez making sure that everything is good with his car. He had a little spin on the infield. He came in, talked to his team, checked the steering, and took it right back out. Whatever it was, hopefully it's behind him. It's not sitting in his head, because he's going to have to really put in a flyer in this next 3.5 minutes he has on track. And here we have Ernie Ramirez starting his hot lap. He could easily get 2 laps in right now if he's able to keep it clean. In this weather, we don't know if his engine or his tires will be able to keep up with 2 laps, but hopefully he has enough in him to surpass that 103.993. Josh Tangy is still out on track. It looks like he's not comfortable with his time, but that was a 105.106. If there's ever a chance to surpass him, it's right now, Ernie. A lot of curbing into the infield. Looks like it pushed him out wide. Let's see how he takes this infield U-turn, see if he can keep it nice and tidy. This is where he has to gain all this time back. Clean through the S's, a little bit of curb on the right, a lot of curb on the left. This is all about the exit onto the infield. Great rotation through that corner. If he can carry good speed, this may be the lap that puts him in 3rd place. That's a 107.220. Ernie is about 4 seconds off the pace right now. He is obviously much faster than that. I'm not sure if the issues are... Ooh, tank slapper from Pope. This is not the drift paddock, Matt. This is absolutely the time attack competition, but great recovery. That right there is the infamous MR2 tank slapper. He's probably going to want to have to take a deep breath here. It looks like that is going to be the end of his session, though. He's coming in, and it's 8 minutes and 40 seconds into this group. He's not going to have enough time to come around and get another lap going if he comes into these pits. It does look locked in, boys and girls. It looks locked in. It looks like Paul O with his 102.833 is going to run first place in this session. Michael Pastore with his 103.332 is going to go ahead and take second. And Josh Tangy with his 103.993 is going to pull third. These are going to be your final 3 drivers out at PPIR and GTA's Ascend Music and Motorsport Festival Night Battle. These drivers for Group A are going to have to get to the pits. They're going to have to get out to the hot pits. Once the session goes live, they have 10 minutes to set their lap. Nobody's going to wait for them. Does look like we have Cable Rosenberg and his twin-turbo Viper making his way onto the hot pits. Ferris and Dominic have been ready to go. Dominic was able to really surprise us with running a faster first lap than Ferris did. Could have a lot to do with the weather, could have a lot to do with everything, but this is the time. You got to get in your competitor's head. Ferris knows that his first lap was not the fastest lap out there, and that's not something he's used to. We have 3 of the 5 drivers for Group A ready to go out. Once again, once this session goes live, the timer starts. We wait for no man. Top 3 move on to the next. We are talking about $5,000 on the line for each one of these groups. The top 3 has been set for Group B. Now we have to set the top 3 for Group A. Just under 4 minutes until the track goes hot for Group A's top 5. To reiterate, leading Group B in the top 3 is Paul O with a 102.833 in his GT500. Michael Pastore just behind him with a 103.332 in his Audi S3, and Josh Tangy with a 103.993 in his Audi TT. It does look like all 5 competitors have made their way to the hot pits for Group A's top 5. It's going to be led out by Ferris Khartoumi, followed by Dominic Tapia, then Anthony Zerka, followed by Cable Rosenberg, and then Tim Schopner. This is a lot more high stress than these drivers are used to. Time attack is usually a lot of time between sessions. These cars are very high strung. They have to be cooled down. The tires have to be cooled. Drivers have to download data. There's a lot that goes on between sessions in these high power, high downforce machines. So asking these Group A drivers to set laps and be back in 5 is not something they're used to. You could tell because these drivers are always early to grid, but it looks like they made it just in time for this session to start. Group A top 5 is about to go live. Group A top 5 is about to go live. Being led out by Ferris Khartoumi in this beautiful twin turbo C6 Z06 Corvette. This is the battle of Japanese versus American. We have a twin-turbo Z06. We have a twin-turbo ACR Viper versus 3 Evos, 2 different generations of them. 2 Evo 8s and 1 Evo 10. And they are going hot. Once again, this session has 5 minutes cut out of it. It is a 10-minute session. These top 5 are going to turn into the top 3. Based on last session, looks like Tim Schopner and Cable Rosenberg are the underdogs, but the times laid down last session mean absolutely nothing. They have to go back out here and do it all over again. We have a blank slate, empty timing and scoring. I need them to write their lap times down and stamp them. Ferris spends a lot of time here in his drift Corvette. He himself says he's half the reason that the infield is so slippery. He's here every weekend. Got a nice spread between these cars. Anyone who's in Group B should really pay attention to this spread because this gives them the best time. Looks like Ferris starting his hot lap. Dominic Tapia right behind him. Can Dominic go faster than Ferris on the first lap just like he did last session? That's unheard of. That's not something Ferris is used to. Maybe that's getting in his head. Maybe that's just tapping on his shoulder, but that gives Dominic that little edge. Anthony Zerka, first time driving this Evo, by the way. He just got in and decided to shoe it. Ferris with a little wiggle going into the infield. Mistakes like that are not going to get him the top spot in these sessions. If Dominic lays down a perfect lap after Ferris has a small mistake like that, we may see Ferris have to lay down another flyer. Ferris just exiting the S's, about to get onto the front straight. Trying to put all 900 horsepower down in this car. That was the map he was running during the event. I'm not sure what he has running now, but like most of these twin turbo cars, they're on multiple maps. Dominic Tapia finishing his first hot lap. It looks like Anthony Zerka absolutely pushing it on the infield. Ferris Kartumi with a 55.058 on his first lap. Even with that small mistake, we're not sure if he turned up the wick or if he just was clean everywhere else, but a 55.058. Dominic Tapia with a 57.085. Cable Rosenberg with a 58.871. And Tim Schopner with a 59.696. Anthony Zerka was not able to complete a lap. He is coming in to talk to his pit. He does not have a lot of time. He has 7 minutes left in this session to lay down a flyer. This is not the time for him to be having issues. Hopefully they get that figured out. He was the favorite to be in the top 3 of this session. Right now we have Tim Schopner in his 59.696. If he could pull a second out of that, get in front of Cable, that would be huge. Looks like his team is under the hood. Whatever is going on with this car, hopefully they're able to get it figured out quickly. Dominic with a 59.497 on his second lap. Looks like he is slowing down. We're not sure if that was just him letting off after a mistake or the tires are getting away from him. But Cable is coming in. Sorry, Ferris is coming in. Cable with a 58.318 on his second lap, trying to make sure he does not lose that third place position. We do know that Anthony Zerka and that Evo is capable of the 57s though, so whatever their issue is, hopefully they can sort it out because he needs to get out there in the next 6 minutes to lay down a lap. Another thing these drivers are dealing with, just like us in the tower, the sun is starting to get really low. It could be getting, Cable going really wide on that infield shot. A lot of understeer there. Not sure if it just came from a lack of grip or just too much speed carried. Dominic Tapia starting another hot lap. That was a 104.889. It does look like Anthony Zerka and Ben Danker's Evo have pulled into the back paddock. Whatever their issue is, it is not something they could sort out in time. So now it is up to Tim Schopner to try and take Cable out from third place. Ferris Khartoumi with a 55.058. Dominic Tapia with a 57.085. Dominic is a 56.380, pulling a complete second out of that lap time. Hopefully whatever they have, they still have something for Ferris in this next session, because the top three is going to be live. It does look like Dominic Tapia has found the fastest lap he has in this session. A 56.380 is absolutely a great lap time out of that car. He is looking at Ferris's 55.058 though, and he was able to get that done on the first lap. Anyone who watched that first lap will also tell you that Ferris made a pretty big mistake in the infield. Ferris does hold this track record with his other Corvette that's in Australia right now with a 53.097. No one was able to touch that lap time during competition for the $10,000. That bounty is still up going into next year, but that just tells you the kind of pace he has. This car was developed over the last 8 months, and they used every bit of knowledge they had on the original car. But that doesn't mean that the car just comes out of the box fast. The first event it went to at Road Atlanta, it had big issues. He was only able to do 2 laps. This is going to be the inaugural full event for this car, and it seems like he has really sorted it out. One small issue with a valve cover bolt coming loose and a bunch of smoke billowing out of the side. They sorted that out very quickly though, and this car has run pretty flawless for the entire event. It looks like those are going to be the final laps of this session. Ferris Khartoumi in a C6 Z06 twin-turbo Corvette with a 55.058. Dominic Tapia with his Pikes Peak Hill Climb Evo with a 56.380. And Cable Rosenberg with a 58.318 in his twin-turbo Viper. Lined up and ready to go for your top 3 in B group. This is the final session for them. Whoever leads this session at the end is going home with a $5,000 check. This is your B group. A group is in the cold pits, these higher end unlimited class cars tend to have to refuel and recheck a few things between sessions. Even though they don't have much time, they're really going to have to work on it. That is the checker flag for this session. Group A, Session 2 has now gone cold. We will be going to Group B, Session 3. These three drivers have been within tenths of each other on laps. It looks like Paul O is going to be leading them out. He's going to have the stress of knowing he has the fastest car on track. He just has to put it together. Michael Pastore in that Audi S3 has consistently been knocking on his door, and Josh Tangy has just been doing lap after lap faster and faster. Josh very confident in this track. Michael Pastore very confident in his driving. And Paul O, first time at a big competition. Is he going to let that stress get to him, or is he just going to go out like an assassin and leave with $5,000? Stay tuned. We will see. Down to the top three, these drivers will not have a full 10 minutes on track. They're going to have 7 minutes to be able to lay down their fastest lap. 7 minutes to lay down their fastest lap. Paul O has been laying down his fastest lap on his second and third lap, where Michael Pastore and Josh Tangy have been historically doing it on their first lap. So if there's any issues, Paul has any mistakes, anything that's going to get in his way may cost him this $5,000. These drivers have to go out, they have to lock in, and they have to do everything they can in this 7 minutes to take home that $5,000 cash prize. All of Group A is in their garages. I have my reporting team down there telling me they're refueling, rechecking tire pressures, letting the cars cool down for as long as they can to make sure they don't miss their session. Same thing is true of them. As soon as Group A goes out for the final top three, they will have 7 minutes to lay down their flyers. Looks like Dominic Tapia is coming out, getting ready for his session after this Group B run. They've refueled, they've checked over the car, and it looks like he's ready to go out there and try and upset Ferris Khartoumi in his Corvette Z06. He is the only import left in Group A. This is the battle of American muscle versus four-cylinder power. This car has gone up Pikes Peak. It is an amazing setup, guys. Don't be fooled by the fact it has half the cylinders of Ferris and a third of what we're dealing with the Viper, guys. He's going to go out there. He's going to give it all he can. Hopefully the team had a backup set of tires to put on, some secret sauce nobody knows about. If we see Dominic come out and lay down the fastest lap on the first lap, it's going to put a lot of stress on Ferris's shoulders. Here we go, guys. 7 minutes going live. Paul O out on track, followed by Michael Pastore and Josh Tangy. This is for $5,000. Once again, previous laps mean absolutely nothing. We don't care about your lap average. We don't care about what you did in the second session on day one. He needs to lay down the fastest lap of this session to come home with that prize. And it looks like the track is hot. Green flags. Paul O starting his hot lap, going across the start-finish line on the front straight. He's going to have to pull all the stops for this lap. Michael Pastore starting his hot lap. And Josh Tangy right behind him. Looks like we have a good gap between these drivers. Nothing to get in anyone's way. It's just them versus themselves. Drivers versus the clock. Car versus track. Nice and tidy around that infield U-turn. He hasn't been using a lot of that turtle curb there. It seems it may have upset the car a little bit. These nice big rounder curbs he's been using a lot of. Looks like he went a little wide into that final S. It may cost him a good amount of front straight speed. And when we're talking a Roval lap, front straight speed is everything. Paul O knows he has to get 2 flyers out. He set his fastest lap on the second lap each time, and that was a 103.442, but Michael Pastore with a 103.401. And we have Josh Tangy with 106.552. Michael Pastore, 41 thousandths faster than Paul O right now in that Audi S3. Paul made a couple mistakes on the infield. If he's able to clean it up and get back in the 102s, that would be everything. But Michael's hot on his heels. Previous laps don't matter. It's all about what you can do in this session. Now, these drivers do not have live timing and scoring for everyone else on there. They just know themselves. It looks like he's a lot cleaner through the S's here. Let's see what Paul O lays down on his second lap. Currently sitting second in that GT500 behind Michael Pastore's Audi S3. Paul O, 103.189. Takes about 2/10 off of Michael Pastore's time. Paul O brought it back to himself. Michael's really going to have to work his way back on this one. He's definitely been in the 103.3s, but I haven't seen him in the 103.1s. Paul O may have secured himself first place, but there's no way to know till the end of this session. Josh Tangy with a 105.129. He's lost a couple seconds off his fastest lap of the previous session. He did a 103.993. Paul is really pushing this Mustang. He knows whatever he's doing, he has to put down the best lap he can if he wants to come home with this money. With only 2 minutes left in this session, these drivers are going to push until the end. And he drops it even further, a 103.008. It's not the 102 he had of the last session, but it's 4/10 up on Michael Pastore, and that could be enough to take him to first place. Michael did a cooldown lap of 113.236. He's letting the tires come back under him. This is going to be where he lays down that lap. We got 1 minute and 40 seconds left in this session. If Michael Pastore can lay down a flyer after that cooldown, that's going to be everything. Josh Tangy did the same thing. He did a 119.706. Cooled off the car, cooled off the tires, trying to lay down one more flyer before this session ends. We got 1 minute left in this session. It looks like Paul O did a semi-cooldown lap. He's going to go for another flyer. Michael Pastore, 104.272, not enough. Paul's holding off with that 103.008. Josh Tangy taking that low line, just trying to get his lap time. The lower the line, the shorter the track. That's a 106.114. That's just not enough. Unless someone pulls a rabbit out of a hat, guys, it looks like Paul O is going to end this session in first place. Paul O, first time attack competition ever, leaving with $5,000. It looks like he's not done yet, though. He wants to give the fans what they're here for. He's going to try and lay down a 102 again. He doesn't even know, but he is number one right now. And that is the checker flag for Paul O. That last lap was about a 10th off his fastest. Paul O with a 103.008 takes Group B. Paul O takes Group B. Congratulations to you and your team. Take home that $5,000 and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Looks like the other drivers are going to come into the pits. Michael Pastore is coming in. Josh Tangy may finish his hot lap. Nope, looks like he's slowing down a good amount. And he is coming into the pits. They gave it all they had. These guys held him to the wire, both of them in front of Paul O at some point in these three sessions. Paul was just able to keep it completely composed. Man, what a great run for Paul O. That's what you tell your friends when you go home. I went to my first competition and I came home with money. While he's doing his victory lap right now, Group A is gridded up and ready to go. Looks like I have 2 out of the 3 cars. I have Ferris Kartoumi and Dominic Tapia. Group A is on grid and ready to go hot. With the sudden retirement of Anthony Zerka and Ben Danker's Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution, these are the top three we're going to have. Great job by Tim Schopner to try and make it into this top three, just couldn't surpass the time. Ferris, obviously the favorite to win, but Dominic Tapia and his team have consistently been the fastest on the first lap. Looks like we're about 30 seconds away from this session going hot. Ferris is no stranger to the stress of being in first place. He's been doing this across the world now. World Time Attack in Australia, Time Attack Scuba in Japan. This man built a second car to keep that one across the pond. That doesn't mean that he's unbreakable. Everyone is breakable. Dominic Tapia and his team doing everything in their power to be in first place at the end of this. That would be an amazing stamp on the end of an amazing event. Dominic Tapia campaigning this car for 2024 and onwards, that would just be amazing for that team. Cable Rosenberg in the very first event in his twin-turbo Viper. This is not the 9-liter. This is not the famous naturally aspirated monster. This is the twin-turbo car. He was dealing with some traction issues and quite a few other things, and they got it all sorted. Now it's time for him to go out there and lay down the fastest lap of the event. Ferris is just sending it on this warm-up lap. He knows he doesn't have much time to get heat in these tires. This is a 7-minute session. He's going to try and get deep in the brake zones, clean those tires off, and go for a hot lap. Ferris did make a really big mistake for him going into the infield on his last lap. Hopefully he has that all sorted, but if he makes any mistakes and Dominic's there to jump on him, this could be a big upset here at Woo! He's already hurt the start of his hot lap. Completely sideways getting on the bank. Those are the little kinks in the armor that Dominic's going to have to use to take down the champion. Going pretty deep into the infield. It looks like these tires may be near the end of their life for Ferris Khartoumi. Small mistake getting onto the bank, really deep into the infield. Looks like he's tightening it up through the U-turn though. Let's see how he takes these X's and gets back out there. I do foresee him running a second lap directly after this. Oh, the car is all over the place. This is not how we see Ferris drive. Ferris does not drive with his car out of shape like that, ever. He's going to take it low. He knows this is not his lap. Still a 55.823 though. Ferris making 3 or 4 mistakes, still in the 55s. It makes you wonder what this car has in it on a perfect lap. Dominic Tapia with a 56.532. And Cable with the car heard around the world with a 1-minute 0.60. I'm not sure if he had a new set of tires for this session or he's running on fumes with the tires from the event, but hopefully he can get a few seconds out from under that car. We're going to see Ferris Khartoumi either come in or immediately start another hot lap. It's already 2 minutes and 50 seconds into this 7-minute session. Not much time for him to put a stamp on it, but let's see. If he can get a clean exit out of here, it looks like he's going to come into the pits. Dominic Tappy, on the other hand, is probably going to start another flyer. That last lap from Dominic Tapia was a 56.870, about 0.3 off his fastest and about a second off of Ferris Khartoumi. Cable Rosenberg with a 59.263. Dominic's really going to have to pull something out on these next couple laps to be able to surpass Ferris's 55.8. He's sitting at a 56.5 on his first lap, but he's been going backwards. I'm not sure if this is a cool down lap and he's going to send it for another flyer or if he's been sending it the whole time. Let's take a look. Ooh, it looks like he's coming into the pits. We're 4 minutes and 13 seconds into this session. If he comes in, talks to his team, makes any adjustments, he will have time to go live again. Looks like the weather and whatever else has gotten to Cable. He's at a 1 minute 166. He has put down his 3 laps so far, a 59.263 being his fastest, but he may not have what it takes to surpass Ferris. We got 2 minutes left in this session for either Ferris or Dominic to go back out and lay down a flyer. And Cable is coming into the pits. It's really hard to put that power down if you're on old tires. I know he put on a new set this morning, but that set would be basically at the end of its life now. Back-to-back-to-back sessions, 1,300 horsepower twin-turbo Viper. Very difficult to keep those tires under you. Dominic, though, looks like he is about to start another hot lap. Dominic has a minute 40. He could do 2 laps in this time frame. Taking it deep into the oval. Looks like he's trying to pull out every stop he can for this lap time. He needs to pick up 0.8 to be able to take out Ferris. Oh, going really deep into the infield, though. That is not the play. Hopefully he's smart enough to know that may not be the lap. He's going to cool it off a little bit and go for another flyer. He still has 1 more lap in him. He just has to get around in the next 30 seconds. This is going to be his final lap. And now he starts. Hopefully the tires are still under him. Made a small mistake into the braking zone into the infield. Takes it really low through the bank, but stayed in the gas a lot longer. Let's hit our brake marker here, Dominic. Let's see if we can take it in the infield nice and smooth. That lap right there with the big mistake in the infield was a 56.833. If he can tidy this up, there is a chance he can take first place away from Ferris Khartoumi. Great turn into the infield. Nice in that low speed section. Has to be clean through this U-turn. Nice and clean. Put the power down early. Hit that late apex. Great shot. Going to get through these S's. Let's not unsettle the car too much. Let's make sure he has what it takes to get around this final corner. Nice clean rotation there. Now he just has to carry as much speed as possible onto the front straight. Not enough. Ferris Khartoumi will lead this session and take home the $5,000 bounty on Group A's final session.
モータースポーツで得た高度な技術をすべてのレイズホイール一本に込める魂は永遠に変わらない。ビヨンド・ザ・レボリューション。ザ・コンセプト・イズ・レーシング。
Link is the engine management solution for champions the world over. We know what it takes to win, pushing boundaries, performing under pressure, and having the best people on your team. Our tech support are performance specialists, available 24 hours and ready to talk one-on-one about your winning formula. Link ECU. The performance, reliability, and power to get to the podium.
to the pits. Drifters, we'll get you guys going here real soon. We're going to do drifting from now until 11 p.m. We'll do a short break for the ground show at 9:30. We're going to do a burnout pit. Burnout pit at 8:30. We're going to do another burnout pit show at 8:30. Then we'll do drones at 9:30. And then fireworks following drone show directly after.
that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 and a 5 stick, you can get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, coming down like precipitation. I ain't never met a limitation. Hate plotting my elimination. Gotta go to Google for the information. I'm a superstar, so I gotta shine. Top dollar be the
Ascend Night Battle. For those of you that have been tuning in and watching us this entire time, huge shout out to you. We've been here for 2 days at Pikes Peak International Raceway. Paul O has never done a time attack competition in his life. Found us through NADA, came through, did not podium in his class, but was able to actually come at the night battle, make it count when it happened. Paul, talk to me really quick. How does it feel to come to your first GTA and end up leaving with $5,000?
It feels pretty good.
So tell me, does this mean you're coming to more events?
Oh yeah, I'll be the ones I can make.
That's what I love to hear. Paul, do you have any plans with modifying this car?
Oh, well, there's always plans, but whether the budget agrees is another story.
So word is, if you show up next year and you win your class in this again, that's $10,000.
That's right.
All right.
The upgrades.
That's what I'm talking about, guys. This is Paul O, $5,000, Group B. He was able to come in on the backup side and still come home with $5,000. Paul, thank you so much. Our winner of Group A, the man who has 100% proven and put a stamp on it. You guys know this man. This is Ferris Khartoumi. Ferris, man, talk to me. You've been doing time attack across the United States and now across the pond. All of those events, did you ever feel like this sport would let you take home $10,000?
No, man. I mean, they were offering 20K. Like, technically, someone could have walked away with 20K. That's so much money. It's insane.
How do you feel about your record not being broken at this event? Does that put a stamp on it? Do you think we're going to have a bigger bounty, more people showing up next year to try to take that money from you?
Man, I hope so. I hope this can grow to be like one of the largest events of the year. I think them offering up the money is absolutely amazing. Nobody's doing that for us. The record, it's tough. You know, we drift a lot. I drift. I'm about to go drift all night. So this track is constantly losing grip, and every time I get in the infield, no matter how much time I find, I lose it all. I was like plus 2 seconds at one point in the infield. So I think a high horsepower all-wheel drive car, if there's any of you guys out there, you have the chance, us rear-wheel drive cars, it's going to be tough.
I think he's talking to David Hagsman, to be honest with you. But on top of that, I want to talk to you. That was a really ugly lap for your sake. Tell the fans why that was so rowdy out on track on your final 55.
So I quartered these tires, I think after the first session of the battle, and I was just trying to take it easy, but I can't take it easy. I got to at least do 80%. But the car just wasn't having it. The tires were done. I mean, the cords are. I'm lucky that I got through it, but I ran that lap, and it was enough.
It was enough. Dominic Tapie actually went faster than you in the second session on his first lap. We thought it was going to be a quick little turnaround, but hey, Ferris, anyone you want to give love to, your sponsors, your fans, you've put a stamp on this event. This event is yours. It's something you're used to, but you get to take home money this time. Go ahead and let everybody know.
Oh yeah. Actually, second session, I was first lap only. I didn't want it done. But just to be honest, PPIR, to do this, to have us out here, to have so many cars and be drifting, be doing time attack, offering money, I think number one, it has to be to them. GTA, you guys kill it. You guys are helping us do this, helping us enjoy what we love to do. So honestly, you two, you guys are awesome.
We appreciate that. We do also want to give a huge shout out to PPIR. Without them, we would not have been able to put on this Ascend Music and Motorsport Festival. For all you fans that have stuck with us through the whole weekend, thank you so much. Ferris, Paul, come on over. Paul, Ferris, congratulations, guys. These are your two winners for the very first Ascend Night Battle. Big congratulations to these guys.